Stop letting your camera dictate the energy of your landscape photos. When we start shooting landscapes, we are asked to follow two golden rules. Always shoot at f9 or f11 for front to back sharpness, and always keep your ISO at 100 or as low as possible for the cleanest files that do not have any noise. Most of us use aperture priority mode, and we just let the shutter speed fall wherever the camera decides. Just remember, the shutter speed must always be a creative choice, not a mathematical accident calculated by your camera. Therefore, by treating shutter speed like a mathematical leftover is the fastest way to kill the mood of your scene. Shutter speed is not just the third wheel of the exposure triangle as we will see in the photos today. It is your primary tool for controlling emotion, motion, and energy in a photograph. By leaving it up to chance, you are likely making one of the three critical errors. Today, we are breaking down the three massive shutter speed mistakes that are turning your grand landscapes into flat, accidental snapshots. Let's start with the first common offender, the seascapes. In low light conditions, when you let the camera decide the shutter speed at a dramatic beach, you strip the scene of its power. Yes, we want motion blur with a slow shutter speed, I agree, but not so slow that the waves and the water lose their beauty. Here is a trick. I first let the camera calculate the shutter speed in aperture priority mode so that I know what the right shutter speed for the exposure is. If I am happy with the results, I keep shooting in aperture priority mode. And by happy, I mean if the water is looking fine and it is not completely blurred.
So as you can see, the sun is rising now. The tide is just perfect. It's actually coming onto the rocks and going back and creating these layers upon layers of white foam. It's absolutely stunning sight. And I am shooting at f14. 1.3 is the shutter speed, and I'm moving it between 0.5 and 1.3. And it's not about taking one shot only here, because you need to get your timing right. You need to catch the water when it's going back and creating those cascading effects. And the ISO is 64, so lower ISO, sharp image.
But if the water looks too blurry, I use the pull back rule. That means I switch to manual mode, keep the same ISO and aperture, and use the shutter speed that the camera calculated, but increase it by a half or a quarter of a stop. Wait for a wave to crash over the rocks, then press the shutter. If I'm not happy, I increase the shutter speed again by a quarter or half of a stop. And I know you might underexpose the image slightly, but remember that when we shoot raw images, we have some room to lift the shadows and exposure without compromising quality. Also, you can bump up the ISO a little bit, which will require increasing the shutter speed in any case. In this example, I kept shooting in aperture priority mode as the water looks absolutely gorgeous. And there was no need to change my shutter speed because it was nice and blurry, but with texture. But in these sunset photos of Table Mountain, I took a 6-second shot and looked at the water, which was completely blurred. I then increased the shutter speed by a little over one stop and took a shot at 2.5 seconds, and look how beautiful the water looks. And this is how it looks after post-processing. Here is another photo of Table Mountain at sunrise. A 5-second shutter speed calculated by the camera resulted in blurry water that I did not like at all. Whereas just adjusting it to 3 seconds gave me better result with water movement. This applies to waterfalls and streams as well, by the way. All of these photos of the stream are in manual mode. Do you like the exposure of 10 seconds? 0.7 seconds with a little more texture, or 0.2 seconds with even more texture? The choice is yours. There is no fixed rule, but your creative vision and how you apply shutter speed determine the image you want. So don't be at the mercy of automatic calculations if you are not getting the results you want. Take full control. Now, what happens when you shoot inland? This brings us to mistake number 2, the accidental mushy slow shutter. When we shoot grand vistas at sunrise or sunset, as the light drops, your camera naturally drops the shutter speed to compensate. It falls right into the danger zone where even a slight breeze through the fynbos or the grass results in an image where the mountain in the background might look razor sharp, while the foreground is a vibrating blurry mess. It doesn't look intentional then. It just looks like you just missed the focus. Look at the casual photo I took once. Look at the foreground of the image taken at 3 seconds versus 20th of a second. The fix here is the freeze or flow rule. You cannot leave this to chance. You have to make a deliberate choice. Choice A is to freeze it. Let's say 200th of a second. Whatever is best for the scene. Or if you are taking long exposures and the leaves are moving, you can take 2 shots. One with a shutter speed so fast that the leaves are frozen and another one with nice movement. You then use masking in Photoshop to reveal the leaves from the photo with the fast shutter speed. Choice B is to go with the flow. If the wind is absolutely howling, use it to your advantage. Put your ND filter on and shoot a long exposure. Freeze it or flow it. Never get caught in the mushy middle. Finally, mistake number 3 happens right above our heads. You are standing in front of an epic location. The wind is moving the clouds beautifully, but you shoot at, let's say, 100th of a second. You have completely frozen the weather. The sky feels static and disconnected from the energy of the environment. This is where the long exposure actually belongs. By throwing in a 6-stop or a 10-stop ND filter and dragging the shutter speed for 1 to 2 minutes or even 10 minutes, you stretch these fast-moving clouds across the sky. Those stretched clouds now act as a massive, dramatic leading line pointing directly down towards your main subject. You aren't just capturing the landscape, you are capturing the passage of time. Like I said in the beginning, shutter speed is a creative choice, not a mathematical accident. The next time you set up your tripod, ask yourself, what is the energy of this scene and what shutter speed do I need to capture it? Hit that like button, subscribe, and keep shooting. This is Mushy from sunny South Africa, and I will see you in the next one. Until next time, Khudai Paman.